Hey guys, what's going on? Johnny Gordiva here. So second video in my new apartment with my beard. It's growing in. I like it. It's awesome. So I'm gonna talk about my time as an Uber driver. I've been doing Uber during the weekends to help make some money, and just really enjoying kind of this really awesome, easy job. It's very simple to sign up. You just download the Uber Partners app. You fill out some of the information. You take photos of like your driver's license, of your insurance, up to date insurance, of course, and your registration. And then they run a quick background check, and boom, you're good to go. It takes about 3 days for you to complete and get word back that you're good to go. And you just put in like your routing number and stuff for your bank, and they direct deposit the money that you make. So Uber, if you don't know what it is a transporting service, much like a taxi service for people, but it's much cheaper, and it's based on a GPS. So you just download the Uber app. If you're wanting a ride, you just download it. You fill out some information. You put in your credit card number so that they can charge you, and then you just request a ride of where you're at, where you want to be picked up, basically, and then the driver will arrive at that destination, pick you up, and take you wherever you want to go. There are some limits on it. I know some people will drive you to suburbs and stuff like that of certain cities because they're getting paid. But it's pretty cheap. For about 5 to 10 miles, you're looking at least $10 or less. It's really not bad. So I do this on the weekends, and last night was pretty freaking awesome. It was a very eventful night. There wasn't anything like amazing in terms of like, oh, I've made all this money. I did well, and it's just and I'll get paid every week. But I just met some great people, some really awesome people, and first I met this guy. His bike broke down. He's kind of new to Tulsa, which is where I'm located, by the way. And he was just kind of wanting to know where some good places are. And I was kind of talking about him. He said, well, where's a good strip club? So I took him to the one that had the least amount of horror stories that I knew. Because this is Oklahoma, folks. So, it's not the highest quality strippers. But so I took him to the place that had the least amount. And he's like, well, give me your number. And I was like, okay. And I was like, for why? And he was like, I don't know, you seem like a cool dude, and if I ever need a ride, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, you can just, use Uber. And he's like, no, I like you, you're a chill dude. So I was like, okay. So I went ahead and gave him his number. He was cute, too. So, yeah. And so then next I picked up this lady. She was kind of tipsy, not, drunk. And we were talking. I was making her laugh. And she was like, oh my God, you have to come on Sunday to brunch at this restaurant. And I will buy you brunch. And I'm just like, I feel like you're way too drunk to offer people breakfast foods. Like, there's no way you're going to remember this. And if you do and I show up, you're going to have regret. Like, all of the regret. And so I told her, I said, okay, I'm gonna show up on Sunday. I'm gonna show up, and you're gonna regret it. And so my friend's like, no, don't do it, don't do it. I'm like, no, fuck that. I'm going. I'm showing up. I'm getting some free breakfast, whether just out of guilt because she offered, or if she tells me to walk my ass away. Cool, whatever. But I'm gonna show up and see. And what if I make a friend? That's cool. So then I picked up these 15-year-olds. There was like 5 of them. And so 4 get in the back, 1 gets at the front, and they're talking, their high school teenager talk. And they're like, oh my God, like Melissa, blah, 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 doing all that. Well, then this one girl, they talked about this football player, and they said he's light-skinned. And so this other girl's like, oh my God, I want one so bad. And they're like, what? Want what? And she was like, I want a light-skinned dude so bad. And I'm like, okay, you don't, like, you don't own the motherfucker. This isn't racism. And they called her out on it, and I thought that was really good. I was like, thank God they're not totally white privileged girls. They're still pretty white and privileged. But, you know, I felt like they did a good job. So when they got out of the car, I said, please make good decisions. And I left it at that. So then, I took these two girls back to their campus. They go to school at a local college, and I took them back, and they were like, well, can we stop at our apartments on the way? And I was like, yeah, I don't care, you know. And so for waiting, which it was like maybe 5 minutes, and I mean, it's a little inconvenient, but you know, whatever. They didn't have cash. So this girl literally wrote me a check for $7. I was like, bitch. I was like, what am I supposed to do with a check? First of all, I don't even have a local bank. My bank is, it's one of those kind of, you do everything online. And so I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to deposit this check? Thankfully, it has like a check. The app that I have for my bank has like a check capture option. So I did that. We'll see how it works out. Hopefully she doesn't. It's $7. So I'm like, I hope it cashes. I hope it goes through. But, and then, ended the night driving down the street, and this girl waves me down. She's like stopped in the middle of the road with another car on the other side going the opposite way, stopped in the middle of the road. And she's waving me down, and so I stop, and she's like, this guy in his car is passed out. And I look over, sure enough, he's passed out. His head is leaning up against the steering wheel, passed smooth the fuck out in the middle of the road. Thankfully, it was late enough in the evening, like, bars weren't let out yet, but people should have already been to where they needed to go, so there wasn't a lot of traffic. Right at that time, as I stop and she tells me that, and I see it, a police car goes by and we wave him down. And thankfully he comes back and he just kind of yells at the guy, like, hey, and the guy wakes up. So I drove on. I was like, y'all got it. The police are here. That's all I needed to do. Poor little girl. She's just like, I don't know what to do. You know, so yeah, that was my night. That's my Uber night. So, definitely anytime that you go out and you're drinking and stuff like that, please, please, please do not drive drunk. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I'm good, you know, I've waited 8 hours before. No, literally, as long as you haven't driven like 2 hours away, get an Uber, guys. It's very easy to download. It's very easy to put in your information, and it's very easy to call for a ride and do it. It's $4 to $10. Now, if you're during very high, like times of very high service, like, you know, there's not enough drivers for as many riders, then, you know, you might pay a little bit more. But I'm telling you, that price of paying that is worth way more than either hurting yourself, hurting others, and possibly getting a DUI and fucking over your life. So please, please, please use Uber, Lyft. Your own city might have its own service. We have one here in Tulsa called T-Ride. It's a brand new service. So look at these options and definitely see what you can do. And if you see a cute guy up in the vehicle, you know, compliment them, hit me up, let me know. Take my phone number, call me. Okay, anyhow, have a good time and stay safe, guys. Love you. Mwah.